Okay, we have some insane characters coming out, it seems, from Iansan and Verisa. They are insane in their own rights. So, Iansan, let's go over her because I'm actually more excited for her than Verisa. Well, Verisa, I don't know. But she's basically half of Bennett, but she has better damage bonus sort of aspects, right? I'm basing a lot of my information off of I Win to Lose's video because he's one of the only people who actually have access to the, content creator server and makes videos on it. But yeah, if we go ahead and we look at Bennett can basically give 1,200 attack with his Q skill, but this is Circle Impact, and he is also Pyro, so you can give 20% attack there, and then you can also give 20% through Noblesse. So there's a lot of attack that he can provide. Iansan's given 690 attack, no constellations basically. Just level 10 talent. So she can possibly give more, and then she's also gonna have, probably access to Noblesse if that's better for her, or she can go ahead and she can use the, Natlan set, which is 40% damage bonus. So let's say 690, let's say 800 flat, right? Let's just say 800 attack. 800 attack plus 40% damage bonus for literally any Natlan DPS, or moving DPS, I'll say. It really is insane, honestly. She might not be, the best of the best, but she might not always be better than Bennett, but I think she's definitely going to be a really good character to have on basically anybody's account, because the amount of attack scalers that I feel like have just been built around Bennett for so many years, now being able to use this character like Iansan, or, just having Iansan for another team like Mavuika's team, it would help you out so much. So there's not really much else to talk about there. Now we can talk about Verisa. Verisa is basically Zhao, but it seems like she's doing like 70% more damage than him, and she has Mavuika on her best team, right? Overload seems to be her best team, right? You use Mavuika, Chevy, Bennett, Mavuika, Chevy, Iansan, and that is the team that you give to Verisa, and she cooks. She was doing like 250,000 plunges. My Zhao right now with, Staff of Homa does like 140, 160, 170-ish around there. Some of those kinds of plunges, so doing a lot more damage, and that was Verisa with, her signature weapon. And looking at Widzith, it seemed like she was doing 220, but that's unreliable because Widzith has different buffs, right? So we don't know. Like, if I go ahead and I show you guys the buffs that Widzith gives real quick, you guys can see it gives you Elemental Mastery, which would be completely useless for Verisa, and then Elemental Damage is good, and the attack by 120% is good. However, you still have that Elemental Mastery that if you get it, you're getting no buff from the actual weapon, and you're purely relying on the crit damage stat to help you out there. So that's one thing that her weapon would fix, make her basically guaranteed. I don't know what her weapon details are. I did watch the I Win to Lose videos, but I wasn't very, I don't want to just, listen to everything he's saying, so I kind of just skipped around, looked at the gameplay, didn't really listen to him. So if he said something in the video to explain, certain situations, then I might have missed it. It's just how I do, because I didn't want to just copy the guy. But overall, 240,000, it seems like I actually didn't check how many plunges she was going to do. I'll go back and check. So looking back at it, I assumed, the reason why I didn't look at it before is because the enemies are dying too fast. He can't take them into Abyss and actually show or see a serious rotation. I don't know if he wants to take them against Capybara. I don't know the limitations he has when he goes on to the creator server. But we can also assume that Verisa didn't exactly have the best build again. If you've ever seen some of the builds that Genshin gives their characters, it can get pretty bad. Just through trial events, you can see oh, wow, Diluc has 50% crit rate. Wow. Yeah, even me, I'm bare minimum 75 at this point. So we can also assume that Verisa didn't exactly have the best artifacts on her also. So yeah, and I forgot to mention that she's also doing an E skill, or a second hit. I don't know if it's about her E skill or something. Like I said, I'm looking at the gameplay. I'm not really able to discern a lot of stuff, but you can see that, Verisa is actually doing 280,000 damage on her plunges, which is utterly insane. Certain plunges, I think it alternates between like 100-some thousand to 280, like 150,000 to 280. I think it alternates between them because her burst or something. It's weird. But overall, though, Verisa seems very, very strong, and I am honestly kind of excited to see what she looks like in game. I will be summoning on her on my account. I really do think that Iansan also will be a great pickup for basically anybody who cares about, Mavuika or anything, because Mavuika is a character that will very much so be able to use Iansan, maybe be a little bit weaker, right? There is also the case that Yonan could get kicked off, because Yonan's damage bonus would go down by 5% if you're going to use Iansan and, her on the same team, right? That's basically how that would work out. So you would go ahead and you'd get rid of the, Sender City on Yonan, and you just put Iansan on the team. Could run Iansan on Noblesse instead, if you're just going to be lazy about it. I mean, I might do it, but we don't have to say anything about it. I think it will be very fun to see, because I mean, Yonan, like I said, all right, so she goes down by 5%. Then you're at 36% res shred, which honestly not bad. And if I mean, her weapon is pretty good though. You do get 25% damage bonus just outright from her weapon. So even doing that, you're still giving 60% damage bonus. It's a little tough to figure out. I'm not going to be able to test out because I have C2 Yonan, but it will be interesting to see, because I've heard people say that, Yonan might get kicked off the team because the attack buffing is just that important for Mavuika. But my Mavuika just has so much attack already that the attack buffing really is not going to be. But yeah, this is also talking about Iansan without any constellations, right? So like Iansan C0 is just doing that, right? She's just doing that. Also 800 attack, if you get her with her burst. He said before C4, I think. What constellation is it? Yeah, it's C4. No, it's C5. Okay, so one thing we got to note is C5 is her upgrade, so people are really going to want to do that. And we're also looking at a support character. Generally, when they make support characters, their C6 is generally pretty strong. So I would be very interested to see how that was. From what I saw, I Win to Lose didn't really spend a lot of time on his C6 Iansan. Yeah, so it doesn't really seem like he cared to talk about sort of C6 Iansan. Really didn't. Yeah, he seems to only talk about C0, which, whatever. That's fine by me if he wants to do that. Because Iansan is going to be a tough character to C6. Like, C6ing 4 stars is a tough issue. C6ing 4 stars is hard, right? Like, it is genuinely, like, I went 100 summons without getting a single Auroron. I got a single Auroron at 100 summons. It took me 100 summons for this guy, right? Could be the same thing with Iansan. I understand fully why someone wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, here's C6 Iansan, you guys are definitely going to have her. Will probably be one of the better characters in the game, no matter how you see it. I mean, I consider Bennett 4, and considering she can be a sort of side grade or an upgrade in some instances, or just a character to take Bennett's place in general, that is good enough for me. Because even Yonan, even Kazuha, there are other sources of damage bonus that we had in the game. There are other sources of res shred that we had in the game. Or like basically any character, any animal character could do the res shred, right? However, there wasn't really a character who could provide a Bennett level attack buff. There just wasn't. They just didn't exist. However, now with Iansan, it does seem like that character is going to exist. And we'll see how well she shapes up at, higher constellation levels. I will probably be trying to C6 Iansan even if I get her. I will probably just summon for Varesa constellations. I don't think I'm summoning for a weapon. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy. Hopefully, we will be getting emotes soon for the members. Emotes should be very, very soon. I have a preview of all 6. We're just altering them a little bit. And yeah, that'll be really sick. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.